For as long as I can remember, wrestling has been a guilty pleasure. When I put on wrestling, I always have to apologize for it or explain it. And that even includes when I'm watching it by myself. There will be moments of brilliance in WWE television interspersed amongst hours and hours and hours of, let's just call it, garbage. And it's been that way for as long as I can remember. Now, I hope you noticed what I said there. I said wrestling, but what I meant was WWE. And that's because for the last 20 years, wrestling fans have by and large been in a Stockholm Syndrome relationship with one wrestling organization that overpowered, absorbed, and destroyed all of the others. Now, granted, there are alternatives, and if you seek them out, you can find them. My journey took me through ROH, PWG, and I remember watching these matches and going, wait a minute, wrestling can be good all the time? Wrestling can be fast and impactful, yet it lacked the scale, pageantry, and wild comic book storylines I loved in WWE. I was never truly going to get that from an indie. Which brings us to All Elite Wrestling. The Stockholm Syndrome we have with WWE is defined by its singular creative vision. Good or bad, everything in WWE goes through one mind. NXT is wonderful and it's a breakaway, but you can see NXT is already starting to look a little bit more like SmackDown and Raw. And that's because, as I said, it's one mind. Trust me, I worked for the company. Many voices, but one mind. AEW is the first time wrestling at large has been released from that relationship in the United States. And holy fucking shit, AEW, what if wrestling was good? What if wrestling had characters you reliably cared about, storylines that actually went to surprising places, and most of all, consistency? Storytelling from top to bottom, every episode as though it was an actual premium TV show, instead of some sort of variety circus gimmick. AEW has shown me that Gold Dust is an all-timer. People who couldn't shine in WWE glow brighter than you could possibly imagine in AEW. And that's not because of the corporate nature of WWE. That's because of the creative behind it. AEW is a collaboration. WWE is the Star Wars prequels. It's like poetry. It rhymes. Not so much. Cody Rhodes has completely cemented the name of the Rhodes family, even more so than anyone could have ever imagined. The Young Bucks went from, think of them as indie filmmakers, to not only having Academy Awards, but running their own fucking studio. As a creative person, AEW is inspiring, heartfelt, thrilling. I watched that fucking show, and I'm blown away that I live in an era where it is allowed to exist. AEW. It's wrestling as good as this kitten. Okay, got You know, Chris Jericho was almost going to be in Wrestling Isn't Wrestling. It's true, I had a meeting with him in a smoothie shop. I wanted him to play Chris Jericho, and I was like, won't this be like a special thing for the fans if you're just in this after all this? If I had Chris Jericho as Chris Jericho? And he was like, won't that kind of, if everyone else is women, won't that kind of just make it look like I'm doing like small-time YouTube stuff? And I get what he was saying now, and he was very polite about it, but like, I wish he'd been in it. I wish he'd been in it.
Who's Chris Jericho?
Chris Jericho is the best wrestler of all time.